That's out of 58,621 tests. So let's bring our NFL insider, Tom Pelissero, who has been all over this story. Now, Tom, the NFL the league office did have a conference call today to speak about both COVID and the social justice issues. What can you tell us about what Dr. Alan Sills, as well as Roger Goodell, said about how they're going to handle the pandemic as we get started in this season?
Well, MJ, let's start off with those numbers. That is a slight uptick from the previous 9-day window in which there were only a small number of positive tests around the league and no players tested positive. In this case now, you have 4, but that's out of 50,000 plus tests. Those are still really, really low numbers, a fraction of 1%, which is good news for the NFL now as they move forward. But there are still a lot of different things that they need to sort out. Some of the focuses here now in the coming weeks and really till next week when the regular season begins include travel protocols, tightening those up, game day. They still also have to agree on the in-season testing cadence. In other words, it's been daily testing since training camps began. That's under an agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA. The union continues to push to extend daily testing into the regular season, but the current agreement expires on Saturday. So they need to continue to figure out how they want to move forward here. You certainly would look at those numbers and say everything to this point has been positive, and they're not going to want to do anything to disrupt that.
And along those lines, Tom, the commissioner also said that the season is slated to go on as scheduled. What else can you tell us in that regard?
One of the big questions, MJ, going forward is going to be where and when are fans going to be in the stands? Well, we know that there are some teams that are planning to have fans in the stands starting in week 1, including the Kansas City Chiefs, who plan to have Arrowhead Stadium at about 22% capacity for the season opener next Thursday night against the Houston Texans. There are a bunch of other teams that have said, at least in the early portion of the season in September, they're not going to have fans in the stands. What Roger Goodell said on that front today was that we may be having a lot of teams that will start with no fans at the beginning of the season, and they evolve to fans. What they're going to do here is be in constant communication with public health officials on the local level. They are not going to go against the health-related guidance. As far as some of the complaints that certain coaches have voiced about a competitive advantage to the teams that have fans and the ones that don't, Goodell said they have discussed that issue. They don't think it would be a competitive advantage. Another thing that's going to be finalized in the coming days here with the competition committee is the use of ambient noise in those stadiums that there are no fans.
While those details are being buttoned up, let's talk about some rumors, because a lot of rumors circulating about Alvin Kamara being on the chopping block. But our Ian Rappaport says that both Kamara and his agent have denied those reports. What are you hearing?
In ahead of that. No clear answers at this point. Clear that there is frustration here on all sides, MJ. But at this point, Kamara intends to be there tomorrow.
All right, Tom Pelissero, thank you so much. We will check in with you a little later on in the show. In the meantime, though, another running back, Leonard Fournette, he has cleared waivers and is a free agent. Fournette was surprisingly cut by the Jaguars on Monday. Bruce Arians not giving up any details on how much we'll see of Rob Gronkowski week 1 versus the Saints. Arians said this morning they'll play it by ear. As for what getting back to game action will mean to Gronk, though, he has some of his own thoughts.
I've been playing for 9 years, so I played in the NFL for 9 years. It's just like practice. It just came back like that. I mean, so right. I'm hoping that that's how it is for the game. I'm going to prepare it to the best that I can, and hopefully, right when I get out there, it's just like any other game. Game on, baby, from the first play on.
Just like that, huh?